Fisker Macharichin. Welcome back to the next part of my adventures through learning Gaelic on Duolingo. I haven't done one of these videos for a couple of weeks, so just to catch you up. Between this video and the last video, you see I've got gold on almost all the lessons apart from clothes, pets and weather. I'll do that in due course. I'm not going to do that for this video. This video I'm going to take the checkpoint test, but one thing I do want to point out, I'm in the Diamond League now of Duolingo, so I'm now top of the class for Duolingo learnings. And also I want to share with you that Duolingo, the Gaelic, has now added grammar notes to their lessons. So, excuse me, I'm just going to go through these and then we'll take the checkpoint test. So let's have a look at the notes for one. So, welcome to Scottish Gaelic on Duolingo. Fáilte go Duolingo na Gaelic. Gaelic, although it may appear quite different at first, is very regular language with consistent grammar rules and sensible spelling system that accurately represents Gaelic sounds. Okay. Indefinite nouns. So the first note is there is no indefinite article in Gaelic. The word coo, which means dog, could also mean a dog or just simply dog. Nice and easy so far, so good. Okay. This skill does not explore words with the definite article equivalent to that at all. Yeah, I think because definite articles get a bit more complicated, so I'm sure that's probably something that will come on in a later lesson. So, word order. The basic word order of Scottish Gaelic is verb, subject, object. I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but this is in the official notes. The important thing to remember at this stage is that the verb generally goes at the start of a sentence. So, in a basic descriptive sense, the adjective would come at the end. So, in this case, ha ana snog, verb, subject, adjective. That just means Anna is nice. And this is some notes about the verb to be. So ha and chanel are both present tense are both present tense forms of the verb to be. This verb is your friend. Think of it as your Gaelic bestie. There are lots of ways to use it that will unfold as the course progresses. And something covered in some videos as well. Shaw, that means it can either is a useful word. It can mean this is or here is. Although for consistency, we have tended to translate it as this is. Right. So next thing is about pronunciation. As a general rule, words are spelt as they're pronounced in Scottish Gaelic. Once you're comfortable with Gaelic spelling, don't worry, we'll help. Then the system will be a learner's best friend. Generally stresses on the first syllable in Gaelic. We are lucky to have recordings from a range of speakers. Dialectal differences are actually quite small in Gaelic, and our recordings are an example of the most standardised form of Gaelic. You will hear some small variations in accent which will help prepare for Gaelic in the wild. Pronunciation challenges found throughout our course will help accustom you to Gaelic sounds not found in English. So yeah, I've come across a few pronunciation differences. Off the top of my head, the one I can think of is the plural U form. I've always known it to be pronounced shiv, but I heard one pronunciation was like shoe, like on your foot. I think that's there's other things like the word for and, agus or as, but then I think they're just small differences, and I'm sure it doesn't really matter which pronunciation you use, you'll be understood wherever in the Gaelic speaking world you are. So, last couple of letters. An 18-letter alphabet. The Gaelic alphabet contains 18 letters. This is a perfect amount of letters. Anything more would be frivolous and wasteful. So there's no J, K, Q, V, W, X, or Y. And there's no Z in there as well. This is a major inconvenience during games of Gaelic Scrabble, but otherwise presents no difficulty. I'm pretty sure there's no Z in Gaelic as well. Don't know why they've missed that out. And lastly, why they keep mentioning Iron Brew in these lessons. Iron Brew is Scotland's best-selling soft drink. It's fizzy and orange and comes from Cumbernauld. Or as we'll find out probably at a later point in Cumbernauld in Gaelic is Comornanalt. So that's the first set of notes we've come across. So let's have the notes for this one. Let versus live. In this skill, you'll come across some simple ways of thanking people. Like many European languages, the form you use will depend on who you're speaking to. Tapa let when you're thanking a peer or a child. Tapa leiv and you're thanking someone older than yourself, or when you're thanking more than one person regardless of age or formality. So my computer just beeped there, does that occasionally. This distinction runs through the language, and although it can seem a little confusing at first, practice will embed it very quickly. You're very unlikely to offend anyone by choosing the wrong form, and even if you did, they probably wouldn't have much crack anyway. Yeah, this is just basically introducing you to the fact that there are two forms of you in Gaelic, like there is in almost all European languages. In fact, I think English is probably one of the only languages that has one word for you, or unless you're in some parts of Britain, they'll say use, but it's not very good English to say that. But anyway, not important because we're learning Gaelic here, not English. So the adjective follows the noun. The adjective almost always follows the noun in Gaelic. So there, cat mor is a big cat, and cúsnoch is a nice dog. All nouns in Gaelic have a gender, masculine or feminine. We used to have a neuter gender too, but we lost it on a ferry in the Middle Ages. Okay. So this is important for later on in the course when you'll have to get adjectives and things to agree with whether a noun's masculine or feminine, and the definite article and stuff like that, but that's something for later on. So the magic of lenition. So we've touched on this in the previous lessons. Lenitions are when you change the sound. I'll just read it. The gender of the noun often causes a special type of consonant mutation called lenition, when an extra H appears after the initial consonant. You can see an example of this with the words like Madden and Eiche, both feminine nouns, and Fisker, a masculine noun. So there, Fisker ma, good afternoon, good evening. So with a masculine noun, there's no lenition, but with a feminine noun like matin for morning, matin va, or oiche va, night, or for good night. So here's the rule. Singular feminine nouns usually cause this lenition in writing in adjectives that start with the consonants B, C, D, F, G, M, P, R, S, and T, but not with those beginning with L, N, R, or S, G, S, M, or S, P, S, T, or vowels. You don't need to memorize this now. The best way to become comfortable with this is gradual exposure throughout the course. Lenition happens for lots of reasons. The vocative case. The vocative case is used when addressing something or someone, a noun or proper noun. It's cool and it sounds great and is absolutely worth learning. Okay. We do not go into it in forensic detail at this stage, but it helps to be able to recognise the vocative case in action at this stage before we go to town on it in the names one skill. So here is an example. So the word carriage is the Gaelic for friend. So carriage is a nominative case, the basic form. Seo carriage, this is a friend. And a carriage is a vocative case used when you address someone. Hello, a carriage is hello, friend. And here's another example. Teacher is the Gaelic for teacher. So teacher is the nominative case. Seo teacher, this is a teacher. And then we have a teacher, the vocative case. Hello, a teacher. So I think we've come across that in some other previous examples. Look back over some of my earlier videos on this and you'll see examples of this. And here's another example. Pure is Gaelic for sister. Pure, nominative. Seo pure, this is a sister. And a pure is hello, sister. When using the vocative case with a noun starting with a vowel, the a particle disappears. It's common in most languages when vowels come together like this. Say that again? It is common in most languages when vowels come together like this for one of them to drop off. Right. So here's an example. Olav is Gaelic for professor. Olav is nominative case. Seo Olav this is a professor. And Olav, there is another little thing there. They've added an I into it. Olav, the vocative case. Hello, Olav. Hello, professor. Right. So that's all for these lessons. So this video is largely going to be a lot of grammar notes. I know that's quite a lot to take in. Feel free to stop. Just to pause the video, just to take over, to take note of all the notes I'm coming across. I'm going over. That's not. So, food and drink notes. I like Gaelic. In this skill, you will come across talking about likes and dislikes. Istalem and chatalem. These phrases don't translate nicely into English word for word, so for now it's best just to think of the full phrase as one item at this stage. Now, off the top of my head, lem is, you're going to come across something I think I've mentioned in a previous video, something called prepositional pronouns. And lem, the word le is with, and lem is with me, kind of thing. It translates literally as with me. So lem is like, cause it's like the first person prepositional pronoun of version of le, but that's something we'll come across later. So I don't know what istal and something with. Anyway, sorry, I'm over analysing. Here we are. That's just what we're talking about. Lem, our first prepositional pronoun. A prepositional pronoun is when a pronoun, me, you, him, comes together with a preposition. So this is just what I was talking about. With, on, at, to make a beautiful word baby. We'll see many more examples of these in the course, and you do not need to understand what a prepositional pronoun is at this stage to use lem like a champ. In this lesson, we're saying something is or isn't liked by me. Alright, so obviously it means, it can also mean by as well. Anyway, using the prepositional pronoun lem. Lem consists of two words, a pronoun, me, which is me or I, and a preposition le, with or by. That's just what I was talking about. So istalem Gaelic. I like Gaelic. Gaelic is liked by me. There we go. So tulem is to be liked. So tul is to be liked. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. See, it would have been easier if I just read these notes as I mentioned rather than spraffing shite at the start of this note. Anyway, these will become clearer in future lessons, so for now remember the phrase istalem and chatalem to talk about your likes and dislikes, and keep an eye out for future prepositional pronouns. Oh, excuse me. So tull versus tu. It's common for you to see tu in place of tull. Istullum. Istullum. We have opted to teach tull as it is more common. These are two very similar but distinct words, and neither is correct over the other. Right. Because I remember when I first started learning Gaelic, it was tu, istullum, but tull is obviously a bit more common now, so let's just stick with tu. And these aren't really grammar notes, but so guga, or the nest chicken, is a famous delicacy from the Isle of Lewis. People of the nest have been taking fledgling gannets from a remote rock in the ocean for food since time. The young birds are salted on the spot and brought back to the island for food. This is one of only two seabird hunts still continuing in Royal Society for us. Regard the hunt as ecologically sustainable. Guga is generally something you either love or hate. It tastes a bit like mackerel, and the smell as it's cooked is generally a lot stronger than the taste. Some love it. It has once been. It is once between described. What? It has once between described. That's an unusual way of writing that. I think it once been described as strong duck stewed in cod liver oil and salt. Blast that tasty. And haggis, our other national dish. Haggis is all the best bits of a sheep, the lungs, heart, and liver rolled up into its stomach and boiled. It's traditionally eaten on Burns Night on the 25th of January, but it's popular all year round. Vegetarian haggis is also popular and worth a try. Neither variety roams free on the hills. The wild haggis is extinct. Okay, right, that's all the notes for food and drink. In the end, I might just end up making this video just all about the grammar notes, because we've got they only just added them recently. Right, now it's personal. So, a personal pronoun is a word that replaces the name of a person or person. It's basic basic pronouns. Gaelic also has forms used to show emphasis, which you will stumble upon your quest in due course. Personal pronouns in Gaelic are nice and simple. There is no distinction between I and me, he and him, she and her, or them and they, as we will find out we find in English. There is an informal singular word for you, u, and also a formal plural form, shiv. This follows the pattern that we explored with let and live. So here's the basics of Gaelic pronouns. Me is me or I. U is you, if you're for informal. And then it's he, him, it, when standing in for a masculine word. She, her, it, when standing for a feminine word. Sheen, we or us. Shiv, you for plural or polite. And iet is they or them. Right, this one. Sorry seems to be the hardest word. Just before anyone gets freaked out, saying sorry in Gaelic is pretty easy. We just wanted to shoehorn an Elton John reference in. Okay. In this skill, we explored the use of dulich and gav molishkel. Both of these can be used to apologise in different contexts. Hami dulich. You would generally use this when you're actually sorry, i.e., when you're experiencing the actual emotion of sorrow or sympathising or apologising with sincerity. Use this when things get real, so if you accidentally walk in front of someone or whatever. Gav moleshkel means excuse me and would translate word for word into English as take my excuse. You would more likely use this when you bump into someone or spill their iron brew. You can also use it to flag someone down to get their attention, in much the same way as you'd use excuse me in English. Gaelic's golden rule, broad with broad, slender with slender. So, the Gaelic spelling can be intimidating at first glance, although it is on the whole very sensible and regular once you are accustomed to the rules. The golden rule, however, will help you know if you're going in the right direction. Gaelic shares this rule with the Irish language. I don't think I've come across this when I'm doing my Irish course, but I'm sure I'll come to it in good time. And Gaelic vowels are regarded as either broad or slender. So A, O, and U are regarded as broad vowels, and I and E are slender vowels. When vowels are split by a consonant, they will either be broad and broad on both sides, or slender and slender. Right. This won't tell you exactly how to spell a word, but will generally rule how many wrong combinations. Examples in the feeling scale include broad with broad, bronach, sporsal, camar, Seamus, slender with slender, leishgal, dulich, tolichtje. There are a few exceptions, but let's ignore them for now. These are usually words that were formerly a composite of two words that have been squished together. Okay. Yeah, I'll get that. Probably something I'll get the hang of in later lessons. So, right. Let's go to the grammar notes of personal details. Here we are. So, to be or not to be, using the verb be. Like Spanish, Gaelic has two verbs which mean to be. So, be, we have encountered two present tense forms so far. Ha, the present tense positive form, ha morag snog, morag is nice. And chanil is the present tense negative form, chanil morag snog, morag is not nice. So I am from, using be. To describe where you're from, to describe where you are from, you in Gaelic. To describe where you're from, I don't think that you should be there. Describe where you're from in Gaelic, you can use the verb be in combination with a preposition. So is with the accent is from. So ha mi a Alaba is I am from Scotland. Ha iron brew a Alaba, iron brews from Scotland. Chanil mi a Alaba, I'm not from Scotland. Chanil iron brew assassin, iron brew is not from England. None of the place names you will come across in this unit have a definite article in front of them. We will explore this later on in the course. So to ask someone where they're from, you would generally either say Koa Sahau or Koa Sahashif, depending on whether you're addressing one person formally or informally or more than one person. So, Ismisha. Ismisha duo. The other verb that means to be is the copula is. Forms of be like ha and chanil are more often used to describe things. The verb is often used to define things. So, Ismisha morag. I am Morag. Morag knows who she is. We hear you, Morag. Morag is not describing, but defining herself as Morag. Spoiler, we can and will do a lot more with this verb as we explore it further, okay? And Misha is is the emphatic form of the personal pronoun me. So if you want to, you could probably just say it's me Morag, but Misha is more emphatic. To ask someone who they are, you would either use kohusa, so that's someone who's not older than you, or either to a child or some informally, and shifsha is if the if it's someone that you're on formal terms with. There is also a phrase for what is your name that we will encounter, but for the moment, Kohusa or Kohushivsha will do the exact same job. So, emphatic personal pronouns first. So, Misha is the emphatic form of the personal pronoun me. Likewise, Husa is the emphatic form of hu, and Shivsha is the emphatic form of shiv. Emphatic forms will be explored in detail, but remember these are part of these common phrases will be really helpful at this stage of the tree. Congratulations, you have used 2 most common verbs in Gaelic. You're smashing this out of the park. Scanna. Right, now do we get notes with the... Right, there's no notes with the clothes, no notes with pets, and no notes with weather. Right, so I've waffled on about grammar notes. Shall we do the checkpoint test? Yes, let's do the checkpoint test. Complete this challenge to unlock more skills. Yay. Checkpoint check. Complete this challenge. It won't be easy though, with no hints or grading. Let's go. A cat is cat.
Ha mi grenach.
Ha mi grenach. Grenach was grumpy.
Grenach.
I am grumpy. It's still misty. Ha I kiochach hast.
Glee oak.
Glee og. Og is young, so that's very young. Slanche. It's the emphasis on the A. Yes. Chicken is kjark.
Ha davanali acum.
Oh Christ, that was a spider. That was a difficult one. Da.
Ha davanali acum.
I'm not entirely sure I've spelt that correctly, but rabbit is kionanach.
Ha mi ho oak.
Ha mi ho og. Shaw morag. How did I do? Yay! Past checkpoint 1. Right, that was worth it all. So that was a lot of grammar notes. It was probably quite intense, so feel free to sort of rewatch over that, and I got a bit flustered with some of it, but anyway, not to worry. So thank you for watching. Next video we will talk about phrases 2. And is there any notes for that? No, there's not. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon for another video.